Alrighty boyos, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. In today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a re-review of the Typewriter in Fortnite Save the World. And for those of you guys that aren't exactly caught up on what I'm talking about, just yesterday I actually came out with a post on my community tab, basically asking you guys if this was something that you guys would like to see. I was talking about how I wanted to do some re-reviews of some weapons because some of my past videos had misinformation, or I really just wasn't happy with them. The fact that the hero rework came out recently and the fact that this whole birthday event is going on, I feel like doing a few re-reviews of some weapons, taking some second looks at them, and especially, you know, with this birthday event being here and people, you know, these weapons seeming new to other people who haven't had them before, I figured now would kind of be the perfect time to do some re-reviews of some weapons. And you guys absolutely responded, you know, hugely positively. You know, we had like 900 plus likes on this post in like 8 hours, and the top rated comment had over 200. Tons of you guys were leaving feedback on what you guys want to see in the future in terms of re-reviews, so this will just kind of give us something to do in the meantime until season 10. So let's just go ahead and take a look at a few different weapons that are from the birthday llamas and just do some re-reviews on them. You guys definitely did suggest the candy corn LMG, and we'll be doing that in the future, but in today's video we're going to be going over one of the fan favorites from Battle Royale known as the Typewriter, and this weapon has definitely garnered a lot of attention because of this. Is this weapon exactly good or not? That's what we're going to be finding out in today's video. So as I was talking earlier, one of my reasons for doing these videos is because the birthday llamas have come back and people can get these newer weapons, or well, these older weapons that seem newer to them. So segueing on over into how you get the Typewriter, of course you get the Typewriter through the year 2 birthday llamas. These will guarantee you at least one weapon every single time. They're only 1,000 tickets, and with grinding tickets in war games and in actual missions, you'll be able to get the Typewriter with no problem. If we go and head on over to the armory and take a look at this weapon in terms of its roles, stats, description, and all that kind of stuff, we have the Typewriter right here, and the description says it's an assault submachine gun with a mid-range assault weapon with a high capacity magazine and a lateral kick, and it's a shooting profile that makes it ideal for clearing groups of nearby enemies in mobile engagements. If we take a look at the roles, this is pretty much standard for any assault rifle: crit rating, double crit damage, and a damage very similar to the pain train. The damage and the causes affliction damage is definitely going to help out whenever you're not critting, to kind of aid in that really low crit hit chance. And yeah, the stats for this weapon is a pretty decent damage, very good headshot damage, low crit hit chance, okay crit hit damage, fire rate's pretty low, mag size pretty low, range is kind of low, reload speed is pretty high, and the impact is kind of on the medium side. If we go ahead and take a look at the hero loadout that we're rocking with this weapon, we're going with Tactical Assault Sledgehammer for the assault rifle critical damage, we're going with Havoc for the assault damage, Mad Tidings and Startup for the stacks for this weapon, Locked and Reloaded for extra damage after a reload, and Sorry and Might so that we get extra damage every 1 second. However, my Typewriter is fire. If your Typewriter happens to be energy, you of course can use Cyberclops in your support slot. He is right here, and he will allow you to kind of bullet chain your energy to other enemies, which is pretty useful. So what we're going to be doing in today's video, of course, is testing out this weapon with a smasher, testing it on groups of enemies, and I'll just be kind of giving you guys my overall opinions on this weapon. I really wanted to make a video on the Typewriter because, like I said, it's a huge fan favorite in Battle Royale, and that's why a lot of people have been giving it a lot of attention here in Save the World. So I kind of want to make this video on it. Is this weapon bad? Is this weapon good? Let's jump into mission and let's find out. Alrighty boys, so here we are in game with the Typewriter. Now I was walking around the suburbs, of course, using my neon sniper, and I found myself a little bit of a smashy boy up here in this attic. Hopefully he's not water, as we do have a fire Typewriter. Whether he's nature or physical, that would definitely help out with this test. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to test out the single target damage with this Typewriter. Then we're going to use it in, you know, a vast array of scenarios, going against multiple enemies, and, you know, kind of seeing how good it is in that kind of situation. And, you know, the entire time I'll basically be giving you guys my opinions on the weapon. We'll be going over some of the stats compared to some other assault rifles and all that cool stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and build our way up here and find the Mr. Smashy Boy, and we're gonna go ahead and get this test underway. And lucky for us, actually, he is 100% a nature Smashy Boy, so that's pretty good. That is pretty good. So let's see if we can actually get him. Oh no, please don't. No, no, no. Okay, well, there, he's a tree smasher now. Is he actually? Yeah, he's literally a tree. Oh, there he goes. I thought he was the elusive tree smasher for a moment. Let's go ahead and get him away from all these other enemies. There we go. I'll go ahead and take out the enemies that he's around so it doesn't kind of, affect the test in any way. Do keep in mind that I'm in a game by myself in power level 124, so I'm not getting buffs from any teammates, and I usually find that 124 is a pretty good common ground for doing solo testing. So we're going to go ahead and throw down the slow field on the Smasher. Thank God that I can actually see through it this time. I know you guys know what I'm talking about with the slow field glitch, but we're going to shoot, reload to get the locked and reloaded damage buff, and we are just going to unload on Mr. Smasher here. Missed a few shots, but that's okay. That's kind of like your basis of, a normal confrontation with a Smasher. And as you guys can see, we were actually able to off him in about 35 bullets. I have done a few tests where I was able to kill the Smasher in about 28 bullets. It really does come down to your luck of the draw whenever it comes to crit. But what you're looking at is you're looking at around a little over half of a magazine whenever it does come to actually killing a Smasher with the Typewriter. And, lo and behold, that's actually pretty good. If you were in, of course, any other zone with, any kind of lower power level, especially with a full team, as, that's how most people play, you'll definitely be melting Smashers a lot faster than this. However, Smasher tests aren't always what matter whenever it does come to a weapon, and that's kind of where I find myself disliking the Typewriter. For those of you guys that do follow my streams, you guys know that I talk about the Typewriter quite often, and I'm not really a fan of the weapon really that much at all. I would prefer to kind of recycle it, although I do collect maxed out schematics, so I try to stem away from recycling any, unless it's like the Ghost Pistol or something. But in the case of the Typewriter, I actually do have a few quarrels with this weapon and a few reasons that I dislike it. So the pros for the Typewriter, it's probably easier to start with the pros, is essentially that this weapon is absolutely fantastic if you're on the move. Of course, it even says it in the description. It's kind of more of a weapon that you really want to hold at the hip. You want to use it in close range engagements, and it's really useful on enemies that have high health bars. So of course, in that situation right there, you're looking at Husky Husk, you're looking at, blasters, takers, smashers. It's pretty good against all of those other types of enemies. But aside from that, I really don't find myself liking the Typewriter all that much. The fact that you are able to get out some really good damage on some high health enemies is great and all, but whenever you take a look at the stats and especially compare it to other weapons out there, you notice that the Typewriter really falls off, and it falls off quite quickly. And whenever I say quite quickly, I mean not even as good as the Nocturno quite quickly, at least in my opinion. If we were to take a look at the stats a little bit closer on the Typewriter and compare these to other, guns on the game, unfortunately I can't use the compare feature in game, but if we were to take a look at the critical hit chance, it has a 10% base, that's pretty much the lowest you're going to get. Critical hit damage, if we were to take a look at something like the Hemlock, it's going to have 570, while the Typewriter has 545, so the Typewriter has an, okay crit hit damage. It's not going to be the best. If we take a look at the fire rate, it's got 8.1 along with a magazine size of 50, and that actually sounds pretty good, on surface level. You have a slower fire rate with a, kind of larger magazine size. It's going to be a while before you reload, yeah? Well, whenever you are in an engagement with multiple enemies and you're holding down the trigger for as long as possible, you are going to find yourself reloading quite often, and whenever you do reload, you're definitely going to notice that reload. And that all comes down to the fact that this has a reload of 3 seconds. And it's very rare that you find just normal assault rifles with a reload speed of 3 seconds. This has the reload speed of something like an LMG, and it doesn't exactly have the magazine size to really support that. And that's another downfall to this weapon, where it does have good single target damage and it does have really good time to kill per magazine. But let's say you're in an engagement, you're going through multiple magazines, you're going through multiple different enemies, and just a huge firefight, right? Over time, those reload speeds are going to definitely be building up. Those 3-second downtimes of not being able to shoot anything are definitely going to build up, and you're missing out on a lot of DPS on a lot of different enemies. If we were to go back to the Hemlock comparison, this has a reload speed of 3.0, the Hemlock has 2.4. If we take a look at something like the mag size, this has a mag size of 50, Hemlock has 61. This has a range of 3.5, Hemlock has, 4.0. Fire rate is a 9.9, and the Typewriter is an 8.1. The impact for the Typewriter is actually pretty decent at a 503. You know, this has a 448, so at least it has that going for it. But I use the Hemlock as an example because the Hemlock is kind of like your end-all be-all assault rifle, in my opinion. It's a little bit good at everything. It's good at survivability in the sense that you can get a 6 perk with it that's going to regenerate your shields. It's got a really good crit damage. It's got the decent crit rating. It's got really good fire rate. It's got a really good mag size. It's got, you know, decent impact. It's got a really fast reload speed and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like your end-all be-all assault rifle. And comparing the Typewriter to it, you just find that the Typewriter has so many shortcomings that you just got to ask yourself, why would I ever use the Typewriter over the Hemlock? And to answer your question, you wouldn't. It's the same situation with the Nocturno. I've had the Nocturno for a very long time now. I mean, I'm somebody that owns the Ultimate Edition, and my own Nocturno has full legendary perks on it. If I can actually find it, there we go. It has full legendary perks on it. I do like the Nocturno. I think it's a really cool weapon. However, there's always a time and a place for the Nocturno, and it's kind of the same thing with the Typewriter. You don't really want to use the Nocturno in a high-end Twine mission because you're just not going to be outputting the same amount of damage as a Wraith, Silent Spectre, Pain Train, Hemlock, anything like that. But you can always make sure that you use it in the lower level missions, you know, the mid Twine, the kind of around like power level 100 to 108 kind of Twine and everything under that. But once you get past that point, using the Nocturno really isn't a good idea. It's the same thing with the Typewriter. And even if we were to compare the stats between these two, we have the Typewriter right here and the Nocturno. The Nocturno is going to have less damage. It's going to have less headshot damage. It's also going to have the same crit chance and the crit hit damage, but it's going to separate itself when it comes to fire rate. It's going to separate itself when it comes to the magazine size, whenever it comes to the range, whenever it comes to the reload speed and everything like that. And it kind of goes back to what we had just talked about in terms of the downtime with your reloads and the fact that, you know, we haven't really talked about this, but with the range of this weapon, you're not going to be using this thing for medium range. You're going to be using this thing in close range. And so weapons like the Nocturno will be able to do more damage from farther away and be able to start doing damage before the Typewriter can. And so that's also going to add up. You're going to have a faster reload speed, you're going to have a faster magazine, or you're going to have a faster rate of fire, you know, more magazine size and all that kind of stuff. And just over time throughout a firefight, you're going to be building up more DPS than you will with the Typewriter. In all honesty, I feel like the Typewriter is one of the lower tier assault rifles in the game. I definitely wouldn't call it the worst. You know, there's definitely a lot of assault rifles that are out there that aren't that good at all. And the Typewriter isn't bad. In all honesty, it's just a bit mediocre, and that's just kind of as far as the Typewriter goes. I know a lot of people do like it because it is the drum gun, and you know, a lot of people are fan favorites of the drum gun, but whenever it comes to save the world and whenever it comes to comparing this to other weapons and using this in certain situations, you are looking at a weapon that you are only going to be able to use at close range, a weapon with only a magazine size of 50 and an extremely long reload time, a weapon that is kind of heavy hitting but is also held back by the fact that its crit hit chance and a crit hit damage can't really complement it. The impact is okay, but at the end of the day, you're not really going to be needing it in most situations anyways. Comparing the Typewriter to other assault rifles definitely makes the weapon seem even more insignificant, and it's kind of unfortunate. I do think the Typewriter is a cool weapon. It's very unique. Being able to use a Tommy gun is a thing that a lot of people do like in video games. However, the stats of this weapon and the situations that you would use it in just don't exactly warrant perking it up or using it over any other assault rifle in the game. I do apologize for the cuts in this video. It is kind of late and I'm kind of finding it a little bit hard to kind of formulate what I want to say, but I hope I did get my point across in this video. I will be doing a review pretty soon on the Candy Corn LMG for any of you guys. Oh, it's a tree husky. For any of you guys that do want that. But yeah, I do hope that this video was helpful and I was able to get my point across pretty well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of the Typewriter. It's definitely a cool weapon. If you did get it from the birthday llamas, definitely enjoy it and have fun with it. But if you're trying to get far in this game, if you're trying to use weapons that are going to be good, the Typewriter, normally I would suggest to use it anyways, but there's just so many assault rifles that are better in almost every which way than the Typewriter, and it's definitely going to be doing less DPS than most assault rifles in the game. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for the video, and I hope you guys did enjoy. I do want to hear your opinions on the Typewriter in the comments down below, and I do want to hear what other weapons you guys would like me to do a re-review on in the future. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I greatly do appreciate it. That's pretty much it for the video, and I will see you guys next time.